Franz Wagner is the best player on the Orlando Magic. And if your first response to that statement was, "But Paolo plays for Orlando," I know. And yet, Franz Wagner is still the best player on the Orlando Magic. And whilst this might seem like recency bias with Paolo out injured, this is less to do with Paolo and more to do with Franz being the most underrated and underappreciated player in the entire NBA. Because season after season, he has improved his game. Season after season, the Magic have been a completely different team with him on the floor, and season after season, no one outside of Orlando, Germany, and I guess a few of us have paid any attention to it. The only clip I've seen of Franz on social media this year was when he was pretending to milk his brother. That sounds insane to say, but it's true. And right now, the Orlando Magic are 13-8. They have a 7-2 record without Paolo Banchero, and the best player during those 9 games has been their best player for years, and that's Franz Wagner. And if you want to know why he's so good, well, quite simply, how many players in the NBA have his combination of scoring, playmaking, and defending? Just look at him here in transition, bring the ball up the floor, and what I want you to see is just how good his handle is, as he slows down, goes between the legs, absorbs the pressure from Dunn, and then just spins off him for the layup. I'm convinced people either don't watch this man play, or they only care about tween hezzy pull-ups, because the way Franz finishes, the way in which he contorts his body and changes angles and speeds at his size, there are very few players in NBA history that have that combination of size and craftiness. And just to emphasize that finishing ability, look at this play against Hauser, where he beats him initially, but with the help of Cater, that is a ridiculous shot to make whilst barely even facing the basket. And if he's not being crafty or quick against bigger defenders, he'll put smaller defenders in the weight room as well. And this is pretty much an encapsulation of what makes Franz so hard to guard. At 6'10", 230 pounds, there's almost no guards in the league that have the size or the strength to match him in and around the paint, and then there is also no bigs that have the foot speed or the agility to keep up with him on the perimeter. And to top all of this off, he can finish with either hand from pretty much any spot within the paint. And this is Franz's bread and butter as a scorer. Driving, and more driving, using all of those traits I just mentioned to consistently get to the rim, and just as importantly, get to the free throw line as well, with him averaging a career high in free throw attempts this season. But what makes Franz so good, so impactful, is yes, you can rely on him to give you close to 25 points a night. Yes, you can rely on him to be pretty efficient most nights and give you some timely buckets, just like the recent win over the Bulls, in which Franz took a back seat for most of the fourth quarter, but with the game in the balance and just a minute left, he came up with this clutch bucket. Franz can do all of that. You know what else he can do? He can play defense. I know, it's a crazy concept that someone who can average 25 points a game and be an offensive star can also play defense, but those same physical traits that make him a great finisher and driver, you see it on defense. With that combination of size, agility, strength, to be switchable, to be able to help over and block shots, to get in the passing lanes, he has consistently been one of the best wing defenders in the NBA. Just look at him here against Denny in transition. Denny tries to attack him with the low dribble and gather, but Franz isn't having any of that, as he just swats that away from the rim. Or look at him on this play where he's initially guarding Shamet, and even with a bit of a miscommunication, Franz is able to recover and swat Bridges at the rim. Everyone has talked about the Magic being an elite defense over the last few years, with them ranking second last year for defense, third the year before, and ninth this season. And whilst I heard people talk about Jonathan Isaac when he actually was on the court, Jalen Suggs, even Goga Badartse and Wendell Carter Jr., who has been the most consistent player for this Magic team. In terms of minutes, games played, it has been Franz Wagner. And this is where some of those impact stats I mentioned earlier show up, with the team consistently being so much better with Franz on the floor versus off the floor pretty much since he entered the league. Now, as you would have it, the Magic have actually been worse with Franz on the floor this year. So basically everything I'm saying is a lie. Well, not quite. 20 game sample size versus 4 years. And I guarantee you by the end of the year, we will see this revert to the mean. And once again, the Orlando Magic will be a completely different team with Franz Wagner on the floor. And in spite of this, in spite of the Magic now having more and more team success and Franz continuing to put up great numbers, and let me stress, play great defense, it just continues to be overlooked all the time. But just to emphasize this, I was scrolling on Twitter a few days ago when I saw this list titled Potential First-Time All-Stars by SB Nation. And as you can see on that list, you have some great players, some guys who are deserving All-Stars, and oh, who is missing from that list? Franz Wagner, a guy on one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, who's been the best player on that team and has led them to a fantastic record without his co-star. No, he's not even in the conversation for being a first-time All-Star, according to this article. And it's not just this list either. This has been the story of Franz's career. I mean, look no further than his rookie season, in which Franz was the most efficient rookie scorer, he was one of the best defenders, and he was one of, if not the most impactful rookies. Guess how many votes he got for Rookie of the Year? He got 2. Less than Jalen Green, and about the same amount as Herb Jones. Now, does Rookie of the Year voting determine if you are underrated? No. But how about last year, where he averaged 24 points, nearly 6 rebounds, and nearly 5 assists per game? One would say those are almost all-star numbers. Well, Paul George received more votes than him by NBA players last year. Mikal Bridges received the same amount, and he wasn't an all-star. But it's okay, because there has been one problem with Franz over the last few years that everyone has continued to mention. He can't shoot. His shot is broken, blah blah blah. Once that happens, then we can finally credit him as an all-star. Well, he's currently shooting 34% from 3 on over 4 attempts per game, and it's been crickets. And actually, those numbers have dipped recently. It was more impressive before. But it seems no matter what Franz Wagner does, he's just never going to get the credit he deserves. But that's where I'm stepping in and saying Franz Wagner is an all-star, Franz Wagner is a star, and the Orlando Magic are a better team because of him. Now, if you want to hear me continue to talk about Franz and the rest of the NBA, consider subscribing. It's free. Dropping a like would be cool. Have a great day. Bye.